Your personal program is out of date. Your personal program is out of date. What am I talking about? You're probably asking, right? There are old stories running in your brain that no longer serve you. And that is what we're going to be talking about today on Mental Health Monday. We are going to answer the question, when do you need a dose of clarity? This is such an important question. And if you haven't asked yourself before, let's start today. You know who I am? I am Kene Quarter, National Certified Counselor and the CEO of Presidential Lifestyle. And we are here every single Monday to give you a little dose of clarity, and even more than that, a mental refresh. So if you're ready for your mental refresh, just keep watching because today is full of aha moments. Don't believe me? Watch to the end. And I want you to count how many aha moments you have. But let's just start with the first question, which is, when do you need a dose of clarity? Now, I'm going to recap because we're wrapping up Mental Health Awareness Month. And Mental Health Awareness Month is when you can have a lot of awareness. We call it notice. Just notice what is happening in your life. And when you start to notice what makes you feel good, not so good, what makes you take action, what makes you kind of sit down or wait or procrastinate, what lights you up, and then with what drains you. These are the things that you can start to become more aware of, because mental health is not just about mental illness, it is also about mental wellness. And the dose of clarity helps you keep that wellness that really sparks you, that keeps you at the top of your mental health game, personally and professionally. So, when do you need a dose of clarity? You need a dose of clarity when you are misguided, right? When either you are misguided because of your old story, or you're misguided because maybe you're starting not to believe that story anymore and you want some new guidance. You need a dose of clarity when you are trusting others rather than trusting yourself. You see, it's not your fault though, because when you were a kid, how many times did you hear, do as I say, or because I said so? That statement ruined you. And so year after year after year after year, you heard them say, do as I say, do as I say, because I told you so, because I told you so. Didn't allow you to question so that you can get the understanding. And because you didn't have the understanding of how to make decisions, all of your decision making skills were focused on getting information from others. And because of that, now you stop listening to your parents, because even though they're the ones who programmed you to do it this way, you no longer listen to them anymore. They just taught you to listen to the voice outside of you rather than the voice inside of you. And so that's what you do. So you turn within and, oh, I don't trust that. So you go back out. And now it's not your parents, it's your coworkers, or it's the media, or some celebrity, or maybe even your manager or the CEO of your company. And if you are the CEO of the company, then you might be looking at other CEOs or your investors, rather than telling your investors, I run this company, I know what I'm doing. Sure, you do need a board to help you direct, but make sure your board are the right people. Because when we're listening to people, I had a client and she told me this just the other day. She said she got advice from three other people and they all had different advice, three different versions of the advice she needed. And I asked her, were any of them her target market? Then why are you talking to them? Why does their opinion matter? Truth is, their opinion doesn't matter. And that is a logical statement. I'm not being mean. Their opinion doesn't matter because they're not your target market. You can't solve their problem and your target market's problem. The only problem you have set out to solve, your vision is to solve your target market's problem. And I'm only using that problem term because so that we have a universal understanding. That's not the language we use at Presidential. I just want to make that clear. So you need to solve their problem. And to do that, you need to know intimately who they are. So why are you talking to people who aren't your target market? It's not information you need. That is not the research you should be doing. Now, at the moment, she didn't like that answer because it's kind of blunt and abrupt, but it did stop her in her tracks and it did face her to look at a dose of clarity, right? She could now talk to people who really were her target market. Go talk to three people who are like the person you want to serve, and then see what their reaction is to this new product or the way that you want to distribute this product, and see if it's the way that they would like to consume it. Ah, dose of clarity. Listening to people or trusting people rather than yourself only comes in handy when you don't have the understanding. But when you have developed the understanding, you then have to believe in yourself. But let's say you don't have the understanding, then you need a dose of clarity so you can stop being stubborn and stop telling people how to do their jobs. You hired experts. You went on Indeed or LinkedIn or wherever you went and you hired experts. And then you tried to tell them what to do. And how is that working out for you? Right? They're pushing back, they're quitting and going to new companies. Why? Because they don't trust you because you don't trust them. Dose of clarity. Mm. I don't know how many aha moments you've had so far, but I'm pretty sure that was one. When you can't decipher the facts from fiction, you need a dose of clarity. When you have been collecting old things like money doesn't grow on trees, right? I guess people would say that was a fact, but what it's implying that money is hard to come by, that money is just not hanging off of trees and you can't just go pluck leaves. But it's not true. Money is easy to come by. Ask Elon Musk, ask Jeff Bezos, ask Donald Trump. I'm saying money is easy to come by. It doesn't have to be yours, it could be other people's. And most money that you receive is other people's money. What? Yes, newsflash. Most money that you receive is other people's money, whether it's a loan, whether it's a customer paying for your service, whether it's an investor, doesn't matter. It's other people's money. So it comes easily and frequently. You just have to sell people who need your product. They will buy it easily if they are your target market. You just go to investors that invest in companies like yours. You just go to get loans from places who understand you, or what you do. Yes. So money does grow on trees. If you're saying that money comes easily and frequently, yeah, it does. Or maybe money doesn't grow on trees, it means money comes seasonally, right? Sometimes there are no leaves on the trees, and sometimes there are. Well, couldn't your money be seasonal? And then you can just like plan around that is possible. That's a dose of clarity. So I have clarity around when our business is like flow, 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 and when our business is slow, slow, slow. It is just part of a cycle. People slow down at making those kinds of decisions at the beginning of the year. People make a lot of decisions that say yes to us towards the end of the year, depending. Maybe they are trying to lower their taxable income or profit, and so their taxable revenue. So they make a buying decision and they have a reason to make a buying decision. But in January, maybe not so much. So you have to have a dose of clarity also around your finances. And another time when you need a dose of clarity is when you are having either or thinking. Remember, we've been talking about this existential crisis that most people go through and is happening earlier and earlier. Most of us are going to have an existential crisis at some point in our lives. And there are different types of existential crisis. So some might come earlier than others. Existential crises that we've been talking about are ones like freedom versus responsibility. That existential crisis comes at like 17, 18, 19 years old. Now, you don't know it's an existential crisis because you're just a teenager at that time. but it's a big darn deal. And trying to navigate that on your own is not easy. You need a dose of clarity, a guide to help you navigate whether it's freedom that you want or responsibility or how much of each one. And because it's not either or thinking, it's not, do I want this or do I want that? And any teenager will tell you that they want both. And the thing is that we grow up and we think we have to stop being the teenager. No, you just have to stop kicking and screaming and having bad attitudes like teenagers do sometimes. But you don't have to stop being a teenager. Being a teenager is a really fun, cool thing to be. It's just that you don't always know how to navigate it. So if you could be an adult teenager, a mature teenager, then you can enjoy life a lot. And really, what I'm saying is this: remember that at the core of every existential crisis is fear, fear of something. Fear of missing out, fear of making the wrong decision, fear of going in the wrong direction, fear that you'll have to give something up, fear of having to choose and leaving something else behind, fear that you won't have enough. All of these fears create the existential crisis, but you don't have to choose one or the other. You can have it all. You just have to know how. It's not either or whether you can or can't. You can. I'm telling you, you can. It's just a formula to get you there. Living in black and white means that you are giving some part of it up. You're actually giving up the blend between black and white. And we call that playing in the gray. Playing in the gray is what it's all about. Now, I can tell you I'm a very black and white person, and it was work for me to play in the gray. And you may be similar. Now, whether you are the CEO, the leader of an organization, or you are in leadership and or you are a contributing member to an organization. You might feel like there's one place for you and there's another place where you shouldn't be. You got to choose this place and you got to get out of this place. That is not necessarily the way it has to be. Maybe you believe that your company is either in the office or remote, and you do not want to be remote. You only want to be in office. Why? Because it's old programming. Well, what if you got a dose of clarity and found out that what you consider remote is not the only way? Your brain, your limited thinking, your physical brain can only take you so far. And this is when you do start to listen to others when you don't have enough information. But then you sift through the information and you determine what's right for you, your company, your organization, your team, also your customers, what makes the most sense, and money and meaning, what we talked about last week. So you don't have to choose between either or, you just have to find, or you have to define what's meaningful for you. Find the right formula. What makes up you? We call it the you formula here at Presidential Lifestyle. How much of this or that, or this or that, do you need in order to feel prosperous? How much freedom? How much responsibility? How much individuality? How much acceptance? How much emotion? How much logic? How much meaning? And how much money do you need? You've got to know the numbers around all of these. And then there's this formula, and we call that harmony. It's not going to be balanced. It's not like you're going to have 20 of this and 20% of that and 20% of this and 20% of that. No. You're going to have 1% of this and 5% of that and 30% of this and 60% of that. I don't know, whatever your formula is. You just have to figure it out and add it up. Now, it's not something we're going to figure out by the end of this video, but what we can do is start doing the math. Every math problem has a start. Now, you may be saying, Kanae, I hate math. You can hate math, because this is more like strategy. And it's not like the math you learn, like it's not algebra. It's not trigonometry or calculus, or it might not even be addition and subtraction. It is a different kind of math. It's like a strategy math. And you know why? Because the formula will change. Now, I am no mathematician, so I don't even know why I use that analogy, but there might be somebody out there who is and who can put in the comments what exactly a formula that changes, it still comes out with the same sum. So you can get the same thing at the end, which is that high flying feeling that, oh, yes, I'm in the right place kind of feeling. Yes, this is my life. I love my life. That is always the feeling you want to have. No matter what the formula is, no matter what all the ingredients are, the formula ends with you having the life, the feeling that you want to have in life. We call it your idea of prosperity. So if you get your idea of prosperity to come to life, whether you work 10% of the time and have fun 90% of the time, or you work 40% of the time, you're with your family 40% of the time, and you're with yourself 20% of the time. Making these numbers up, you don't know your numbers yet, but you will start to know them because we've had this conversation. Aren't you so glad we had this conversation? Now, if you want to have more conversations like this, go ahead and follow, subscribe wherever you're watching this video, subscribe and ask for notifications so that you know whenever we release a new video. We always release one on Monday, so you at least get one a week. However, every once in a while, we'll send you a couple more just because I know that a dose of clarity sometimes needs to happen on a daily basis. And you can have our service, our clarity every single day if you want. It's totally up to you. If you go to our website, you will find that we can have a conversation. You or one of my team members and I will have a conversation. You, me, you, what am I saying? You'll either have a conversation with me or one of our team members. That's what I'm saying. If you go to triculturesync.com, check us out and follow us here. Now, one more thing I want to talk to you about before we go, and I want to give you some field work. So you don't quite know your formula yet, but in order for you to get there, you'll need to let go of your old thinking. Mhm. Yeah, and you're probably thinking, wait, what old thinking? I just told you. Remember the money doesn't grow on trees, or you got to work hard for money, or maybe you were told only what people with degrees are smart. Wait, but you don't even have a degree. So, but you're smart. You know so much that other people don't know. So that wasn't true, wasn't a fact. Hmm. Maybe I got to start rethinking some of these old programs. Yes, maybe you should. That would be a great idea. I'm so glad you thought of that. See, you're so smart. You don't have to hold on to old beliefs because they've been there a long time. You can let them go. So what old beliefs about mental health do you need to release so you can embrace it? Maybe you need to redefine your idea of mental health. That's the field work I want to give you. Just start there. Maybe you need to redefine what you believe about remote work. Maybe you need to redefine what you believe about what is possible because the world is ever changing. Why aren't you? I really should just drop the mic and stop right there. But I have one more thing I need to say to you. But did you hear what I said? The world is ever changing. Why aren't you? Mm. So when you are telling yourself old stories, or when you are just letting an old program that maybe society told you, or your grandparents told you, whomever told you, when you're letting those old stories run, it's holding you back from evolving. And if you stop evolving, you stop growing. And what you want is more. And it's okay for you to have that. So don't stop yourself. Go ahead and allow it to happen because it's naturally going to happen. The thing is, you've been stopping it, you've been pausing it, you've been resisting it because you want to hold on to those old beliefs, but they're no longer serving you. So go ahead and let them go. You just got to be first aware of them. And that's what we spent the whole month of May just becoming aware, aware of where our mental health is challenged. It might be challenged because we have either or thinking. It might be challenged because we have been listening to other people. It could be challenged because we're stuck in thinking we have to work a certain way. You work from home, yet you're still working like you work at the office. You don't have to do that anymore. I'll tell you about that in the next couple of weeks. Yeah, because we're going to be talking about divulging the myths. We're going to be talking about making remote work easier and not just remote, just when the team is distributed, how you can work as a unified team, even though you're in a lot of different places. And don't you just love, I know you're going to say no. Don't you just love that we can all work together from all these different places? It can be frustrating, but it can be magical. So I want to talk more about that too. In the meantime, I'm going to ask you to join me here for Mental Health Monday every single week. I'm going to drive some dose of clarity. I want to give you a dose of clarity. Just drive that clarity into you so you no longer have to feel stressed because believe it or not, the confusion is the most stressful part of your life. The confusion is the most stressful part of your life. So, in the next coming weeks, if you want to let go of that confusion and get a dose of clarity, then join me here, subscribe, follow, even get notifications, and I will see you again soon. Actually, I'll see you sooner because before you know it, I will be right back on your computer or your phone telling you another reason why you need to get more clarity. And if you're wondering how to do that right now, if you're saying, actually, I want some clarity right now, Kane, then go ahead and visit our website. I invite you to visit our website and I invite you to get a demo because you might have questions and we can get you the answers to your questions because that's what we're all looking for, right? Answers. Yeah. And I'm going to show you how you can get that for you and your whole organization. So I'll see you soon. In the meantime, get your dose of clarity.